that we don't use the cash. We change to use the online payment, e-payment, etc. So can I start with Joseph that you share what you are seeing the market is changing or how the technology impact this market?
Absolutely. I think that traditionally when we talk about bricks and mortar and clicks and mortar, it seems to be very finite. But nowadays, because of COVID, that lines start to be blurred. So at the same time, while people focusing on the bricks and mortars, they find it a challenge to extend their sales and service beyond bricks and mortars. So because of that, being a payment service company in Asia, we start to see some good opportunities to well serve these needs. The first of all is that on the merchant side, some of them may not have all the tools to enable sales online and mobile. So we help them to push out the enablement of setting digital payments on online and mobile. That's one. And secondly, there's also some retailers. They don't have that sufficient tools to easily collect the payments. And also some of these retail sales stay at home, work from home, but they still want to maintain their sales. So we offer some tools like App Pay or Payment Link, so that no matter the sales where they are, at home or at somewhere else, they can still extend their sales and then collect payments in digital ways. On top of that, there are also consumer segments who are not get used to digital payments. They have been using cash or many other chargeable forms. So we try to power them with more on payment acceptance, with some new adoptions like FPS in Hong Kong, or some wallets like Boost, like Ovo, Momo, and all these payment options to enhance the ease of the payments on the consumer market. And we see also quite some changes. In the old days, they have the hotels, they have the F&B. Because of COVID, they have to find new ways to make available of their product and service delivery. So we see more changes of demands drive of digital payments from F&B, but they're doing this in food delivery. We're also seeing changes of like hotel extending on selling their service, or some campers and some others to complement their sales in the hotel sectors. We'll see upticks on medical practitioners. They deliver medical consultation service online digitally, and also last of all, e-learning. I think people get worried about going to physical training centers. Now they deliver all this in a remote environment. Because of that, they look for digital payments to fulfill the payment transactions.
Yeah, thank you, Joseph. Yeah, I think when we are talking about the use of technology, the new technology that Joseph shared to us, we always have another question that's how to protect the information, would that be any cyber attack when the company is doing more online payment in these days. So Roger, you are definitely one of the experts in this area. Can you share with us on the trends of the cyber attacks, or what you would advise the company to do in this COVID-19 situation when we are moving on more virtual meeting, e-learning that Joseph is mentioning?
Yeah. Thank you, Cyrus. Matter of fact, we've been doing cybersecurity for the past 18 years. And a bit about what we do, we don't sell hardware, we don't sell software. We are professional, cybersecurity professional bill pay service provider. So for the past 12 months, what we're seeing is companies, they are more proactive, especially the decision maker. I mean, just a report, what happened 15 minutes ago. 3 of the industrial leaders, like Albert, Hoffman, and Donald, they all giving you not just an impression or direction. They're bouncing the table, they're pushing the button, digital transformation. So what we're seeing, for the past 12 months, and I think it's going to be continues to grow in the area of the demand for the cybersecurity in a couple of areas, right? People are no longer just seeing security as part of the testing, but they will put cybersecurity not just to the lab, but everywhere, beyond the digital transformation. Things we are seeing a company are more proactively, decision-makers are trying to build a more secure business, to do trusted business, with the customer as well as to the business partner. So things like they want to see like, all of you have a firewall, you have all this like, technical control in place. And the management want to see like whether the technical control are in place properly, doing the job or effectively. Okay, that's the one thing that I found like, organizations are being more like, serious on, security. And they also trying to increase the awareness of the entire organization. I mean, it's like I mentioned by this lady here, right? Okay? The mindset. Organization is trying to change the mindset of people by providing like, training, orientation, as well as like, they do the internal marketing for the company. So being like a cybersecurity is like not just the IT or the management responsibility, but everyone responsibility. So they try to like promote in a way. So training, or the awareness training is like definitely something that I'm seeing like, there's like a big changes like, for the past 12 months. Especially like, they are regulated in Hong Kong, like, for the insurance, security brokerage, as well as for the banking industry. They are all like, demanding like, the members or the licensed company to do this job. And thirdly, we are seeing like, the trend of like the cybersecurity space is no longer just doing simple like a security testing. And our customers are seeing or demanding like a more advanced testing, like they want someone like us, okay, to go to the organization to do what? To do the simulated attack. So meaning like, using different way or different approach like phishing, social engineering, as well as like, in this day like we call the red team or the similar attack, right? Okay. So the management will define what are the important jury, what are the important information, of the company, and then for us as like the ethical hackers, or the red team, okay, we need to go and then use the black box, use our way, okay, drop the USB in the car park, right, okay, and then so that like hopefully someone will pick up the USB and then put in the computer and then we inject like a malware, like that will be starting point of our similar attack. And we are seeing like they are demanding like a more advanced, the testing or cybersecurity testing, like from us or from the internal people. And fourth, and this is like a very, I would say like a very impressive, right? Okay. I'm seeing some organizations are putting cybersecurity roadmap as part of the company strategy. After all this like a risk assessment, then they take out like all this like what they need to improve, what they can do better, because they don't want to like suffer from the attack like a ransomware. They don't want to be like on the news headline like customer or the information like explode, okay, etc. All this, right? Okay, so we are seeing like they are like putting this into the strategy. I mean the cybersecurity. That's like I want to share with you like what we observe, what we like know like after we've been like talking to like the customer in Hong Kong.
Yeah, thank you very much, Roger. Yeah, I think most of us see that actually cybersecurity is one of the key factors that the corporate has to consider. As Albert mentioned earlier, even though if you look at the corporate ESG or CSR report, you will find that actually most of the corporates put cybersecurity as one of the material issues that they are looking for, and how to deal with it to protect the business or to protect customer as well. At the same time, Roger told us some new things about ethical hackers or something new to us. And also, I think AI is another topic that is very new to the public or to the business as well. So, April, I understand your company has applied AI in the business. So how you do that, or how the company can use the AI to differentiate yourself to the customer?
AI, so first of all, our company is called Hoffman. So we started as a travel focused company. So we provide AI and big data digital solutions and smart merchandising solutions for specifically for travel industry. So since the outbreak of the pandemic, those things changed quite a bit. So we're quite lucky actually in many aspects that first of all, we have the technology, we have the framework that's already built, established, and then we have some very generous partners and clients that are waiting to try different things. Actually, it's affecting us, it's affecting them as well. So when we come out with different new things, for example, actually, we started 4 years ago, so from 2016 to 2019, we're very much actually travel focused. And then 2019, and then we start pivoting the business model from travel to lifestyle to e-commerce to very much localized service and product driven. So our product, actually, some of our biggest clients like Samsung, some like China Mobile or Korean Air, they actually very much waiting to try different things, and then so allow us to transform the data that we collected or the algorithm we built to actually transfer that to into different new area. So for us, actually, technology will pretty much save our lives. Otherwise, at this point, pretty much, I'm pretty sure the company will be gone by now. But so that was actually one of the things that we have seen, have experienced for the past 9 months since the pandemic. So in terms of our business model, we do there's two components into our business model. One is the solutions. So we operate in S2B2C. The S stands for solution plus supply. So we provide this all-in-one solution, this suite of tools to help our partners to target their customer base and so on. So based on our previous experience, technology has been widely adopted or widely accepted by a lot of major corporations. The one thing was quite funny is that it very much depends on the market. So for example, Korea is one of our fastest growing markets. Singapore is going really well for us. And then at this point, Dubai actually, it's our target market. We're actually opening up our office there in November, collaborating with the private office of the Sheikh, His Royal Highness. And then surprisingly, Hong Kong, we have not actually have met much of major breakthrough yet. With those, we're talking to them, we're talking to a lot of them. But it's just that it seems I guess it really depends on how the local focus, or also how we position ourselves in terms of value proposition, and the design of the product, design of the solution actually plays a major role in expanding or let the people on the other side of the table to understand what we are offering.
Yeah, thank you, Nebo. Yeah, I think the companies in Hong Kong in general, maybe as Nebo mentioned, still need to invest more in the technology transformation. When we talk about the technology transformation vector, your company, DXC, as a global technology consulting company, I believe you have a lot of this kind of experience to how to assist or advise the corporates to transform in technology. So can you share under the COVID-19 any changes of the customer or the client expectation on the technology transformation?
Sure. Thank you, sorry. And I think, these days the COVID definitely changed the conversation a lot. And I think initially, back in say February, March timeframe, that many clients come to DXC for requirements like to trigger the BCP, work from home, and then also, of course, a lot of demands enabling the workforce to do work from home at a remote location and all that. So I think that's more of a preparation phase. And then I think later down the road, I think say down to say May or June timeframe, that we see a surge in demand for customers because the pandemic keep persist, and they need to transform themselves. From a traditional operating model using everything from corporate network, now they have to use some kind of SaaS services, or even using the cloud services. And with that, I think lots of demands from the customers whereby they need to migrate some of their existing process, applications, and systems to the cloud, and making sure that the users or even the executives from remote locations will be able to access all those critical information. But with all these changes, I think cyber at one point it's become one of the last, an afterthought for many executives. But then, as we see with the bad actors, in the wild, that they're actually leveraging the pandemic and cause much harm. And for example, we've seen cases like with Canon, with Hoffman, those consumer wearable electronics companies, they are hit by ransomware. And then we also seen other organizations, even recently, some hospitals in Germany being impacted by some phishing attack or even ransomware, whereby it's actually causing death of patients. So all this, I want to challenge all of you as a business leader that as you embark on that digital transformation journey, I think you have to put cybersecurity as one of the very top priorities, because with many organizations moving their processes, applications, digitally or to the cloud, and if you want to put cyber as an aftermath to do kind of like remediation, sometimes it will be far too late, because we have seen so many cases whereby companies, even as big as say CxMC, for example, whereby I actually got in one of the cases whereby they hit by ransomware and actually shut down the operator, the plant for about 2-3 days, causing about 300 million loss, and causing delay of the iPhone 11 shipment. All this and all this of cybersecurity related. I think many people actually do analogy whereby saying digital transformation is just like you got yourself a very nice sports car with a Porsche, Ferrari, whatever. But then you need the cybersecurity to become your seat belt and also the brake, the carbon ceramic brake, whatever that you want, such that you can go as far as you like, but then you can also stop anytime that you want. So I think this is quite crucial that when you organization embark on this digital transformation journey, be it using technology, using mobile devices, 5G, even AI, for example, that you also have to put, to put on devil advocate and thoughts in mind. What if, right? So because the last thing you want is that your company being, the name appear in A1 of the newspaper, whereby some attackers got into your network, stopped your operation, or even these days I think even more scary is that the bad guy, not only they want to make profit out of the cyber attack, say for example hold you ransom, but then they also do the name and shame game, whereby if you do not pay, they will publish your data out in the wild, and say even with many of your customers there, or even some financial data, or worse, if they got hold of some of the medical records, that's even worse. Because what we have seen in the past, within hospitals and also healthcare industry, they're actually increasing usage of IoMT, Internet of Medical Things, whereby lots of those information containing sensitive personal information, health records, and whereby those information is even more precious than financial records. Say, with, for example, your credit card number. Because with credit card number or bank account, you can still make a change, right? So cancel the card and get a new one. But then what if your health record being leaked? Say for the bad purpose, then yeah, medical records is going to be with you lifelong. So all this actually, I think with that, when I talk to many of the business executives, I think this is something that keep them awake at night. Whereby what if our organization got hacked? And what's the remediation plan? What should I do? And then is there a way that they can find proper measure in terms of firstly to do the assessment baseline, and then more importantly is about the different process and technology that can keep their business keep on running fast, yet they have a proper measure controls in place.
Yeah, thank you, Victor. Yeah, I think Victor shared a lot of the useful knowledge to us, and of course, with the digital transformation, we have to aware of the cyber security, as Victor mentioned as well. So, may I go back to Roger? Actually, from your personal experience, how you would rate or comment the focus or the awareness of cybersecurity for the companies or corporates in Hong Kong?
What I see in the past maybe 12, 18 months, right? The awareness of cyber security amongst like the Hong Kong different organizations, definitely like the awareness is increasing or they improve a lot, right? For example, like I mentioned, right? Okay, they are willing to put money. They are willing to to put cybersecurity as a part of the company roadmap, because they understand if they don't put cybersecurity as part of the company strategy, and then they simply will put the business at risk. So they need to protect the data. They need to figure out a way to do the data leakage protection. They need to figure out a way how to avoid being the company being attacked by the ransomware. So what I see yes, they are making a good progress, right? But at the same time, the digital transformation is just moving faster than everyone thought. As one of the panelists just mentioned, the COVID-19 is one of the catalysts for driving the digital transformation. From original plan is 10 years, now it's they want to achieve it within 3 to 5 years. So they're moving go-to-market is fast enough. But at the same time, when you do the digital transformation, you have more customer information, internal data, as well as you have a more the interaction with all this your what I call the digital product in the digital workspace. And the side product or the payload of a digital transformation is you also increase your attack surface of the company. So at the same time what I'm forcing is the cybersecurity, because of another reason was because of the lack of a cybersecurity professional, not just in Hong Kong but in everywhere. So this is going to continue to be a gap of for your digital transformation. So how can we can resolve it, right? Okay, I think we'll be starting from the board of the member, the senior management, they need to continue to fight for this. I feel the long-term battle, for the company.
Yeah, thank you, Roger. Yeah, for this point, I would like to pass to Abel. From your perspective as a corporate, you talk about a lot of focus or things that the corporate has to do with the information. And actually, because your business is you have to connect a lot of the customer, the traveler information. So how do you protect the information of the customer? Or can AI actually helping us on doing so as well?
That question brings me back to meeting some of the investors, which is quite commonly asked the question. So not just that, so some of the partners. We work with some of the largest companies you can possibly imagine. So for example, in Korea, every single Samsung phone has our solution already preloaded into the device, and then we're bringing that to Hong Kong and 8 Southeast Asia countries. And then, so like China Mobile or airlines, and the newest project that we got is the FIFA World Cup 2022. So we are actually the official solution provider for the entire game, and also the exclusive agent for South Korea. So that particular question we actually been asked millions of times. If you can talk it by every time that people ask me that question, I'll be like million years by now. But so from our perspective, that's actually, it's not a very simple yes or no or option 1, option 2 question. We work on a regional basis. So each country, each company, they have very strict or very somewhat different requirements. So therefore, for our backend system in terms of the data processing, and especially we are the one actually, because of our business models, we actually collecting the data directly from the customer, like consumer data particularly. So put that into our database and then use our big data engine to do the analysis and providing the report to our partner at the end. So so processing that is actually extremely sensitive and challenging. And then actually, matter of fact, after the meeting, we'd like to talk to Roger and Victor about to learn something there. So, but from our side, for every single project and every single country or region that we operate in, we set a very strict data privacy regulations, and also we have this edge. For each country, we have the database actually put separately, because actually we did have a incident happened 2 years ago, because actually we were using one AWS system instead of actually separate ones. So the entire system actually, there were several projects got infected. So after that, we actually using one engine or one database for each project, if the big one, or each country at least. I mean, just like majority of the data processing, any company that has anything to do with data, they are actually extremely careful with how they process. And we do have different separate teams just specifically taking care of that. And for each project, we are actually have some sort of compliance requirements and regulations and everything that need to follow. I mean, we're actually doing all we can. I'm not gonna, embarrass myself in front of the experts here, but yeah. So we are actually one good thing about our engine is we are using the big data engine, so which is cloud-based, and then we throughout the past few years of experience and some mistakes and hard lessons learned, so we try to make it as efficient or as protective as possible.
Yeah, thank you, Abel. Yeah, I believe that there is a lot of business opportunities around for you here, actually.
That's right.
And I would like to actually go back to Joseph, because I'm just thinking Joseph is from Asia Pay. So there must be something that you can share to us on, for example, Abel, his company was having a lot of online payment, and you work with a lot of different merchants as well. So as Asia Pay, how do you educate the people or the company, the corporate, of the security on using the online payment?
Great, thank you. I think that we are not a bank, we are not a government, but I think that we share the work to kind of bring awareness in terms of securities and payment adoptions to the market. And I think that also the merchants is doing a good job, because that right now, because of COVID, even those who hardly shop online, if they want to buy a mask, if they want to buy necessities, they have to go online, right? Even they don't have to go up. So even those who are not get used to online, not caring about so-called security, they dare to take a try, put their credit card number in the checkout form and all this. I think that because of the integrities of the business world in Hong Kong, it seems that this round of the COVID, in fact, educate the market a lot, especially those who have not used to online purchase or mobile purchase. Secondly, and having the fact that the digital payment market continue to prosper, not only dominated by credit card, net banking, but also you can see a lot of wallets coming up to the market. So consumer, if they are worried about putting their credit card on form, you have more choices. You can put on an FPS account, you can open a wallet, OEPay, WeChat, whatever, or even some of these, we have been using that for retails, Samsung Pay, Google Pay, Apple Pay. Instead, you can use the same wallet to make the purchase. It doesn't let you expose your account number to your merchant's way to buy the things. So this will have an extra layer of protections to the consumer. But definitely, if you are worried about that your card being compromised, you can always make a call to your bank and they say, oh, sorry, I charged back, this is not my card, or somebody pinched my card to do it. So you still enjoy the protections. And beyond that, there are also some other measures. The market or industry and try to boost up these areas. Some of these, I think, we all have been enjoying a OTP when we do shopping on using credit cards. So this current standard is called 3.2.1.0. It's a new intelligent way to do authentication that the market is going to promote in the near term. It's a new standard called 2.0. Beyond that, because of the technological drive, you get less to pin your credit card every single purchase. Your merchants will maintain your profile somewhere. And then next time you go to shop online or mobile, you don't need to punch in the same card number anymore. So behind the scene, the industry adopts another technology standard called tokenizations. So that also transformed. In the old days, the merchant site, no matter it's a marketplace or whatever, store your credit card information. But they also worry about hacking. What about their database compromise? Million cards released in the public market. The second generation is the payment gateway to do the tokenizations. We store the secure credit card information. And nowadays, credit card schemes also see the needs that instead of every payment gateway in the whole world capture this card credential of consumer, why the card scheme cannot do it centrally on the cloud. So we now do not need to necessarily keep the card credentials of consumer, but we interface with the cloud of the card scheme. So by that means the whole community to safeguard all the hassles of getting the card potential compromised, and the merchant have to step up a lot of measures to meet the security standard like your PCI and all this. So I think that at the end, I think will be a collective effort of the whole eco platform to make this to happen.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think we all agree that actually we are doing lots of different technology transformation in different business, different aspects. So can I come to Victor? Do you see that actually under the COVID-19 situation, or from your experience on using the new technology like AI, like robotics, like different the cloud platform, etc. that you mentioned earlier, what do you see or any differences between the Hong Kong companies or the companies in Mainland China or other countries?
Yeah, good question. I think it's quite interesting. The use of technology in China has changed quite drastically, in the past couple of years. I think especially when it comes to cyber, so that's my expertise. And whereby I witnessed a big shift in terms of the usage of more or promotion of more of the China-based technology. And in fact, if you open up, the say Baidu and other search engine and search for just for say general technology startup or even specifically for cyber, then there's lots of those organizations in China that have their own set of technologies. All sorts of technologies around, related from server networking, cyber to many, even for latest say robotics solutions, things like that. And whereby there's actually a stronger drive from the Chinese government to promote the use of China developed homegrown technology, and which I think also put stress on many multinational technology providers, related to the big names like Cisco, IBM, Microsoft, and the like. And I think whereby so though many organizations in China adopt those technology solutions and even say iCloud or Tencent Cloud, things like that. But then there's still also strong need in many of the organizations, especially when China-based organizations want to go abroad. Say, typical example, finance. In fact, they're using lots of cloud services, and they are not using the local ones, and they're using multinational cloud providers. Whereby, because they do foresee that not only they have need to have a very strong user base in China, but then they want to go abroad internationally. So that in that sense, I think there's also a strong demand. If you pick the right set of customers, then it's a very fine balance. Whereby, at one hand, to serve the local market, they may more prefer the use of China-based technologies. But then, if the organization is international enough, global enough, they want to become exit out of China, or to have a broader set of user base out of China, then they will adopt foreign technologies. And that's, I think, is one of the key difference. And then the other thing is about in terms of data privacy, whereby I think these days, I think internationally we are aware of many different regulations, like the most famous would be the GDPR, and then in Hong Kong we do have the PDPO and other privacy regulations. And then in China there's also a set of China cybersecurity law, and then with soon there's new data privacy regulations coming up, and then there's also the MLPS, the multi-level protection scheme, whereby many organizations, be it in China or need to operate in China, they want to assess, what type of risk, or how can they be compliant with the different China-specific regulations. And I think this is from DXC perspective, we actually receive many inquiries and advisory services along those lines, whereby we advise customers, believe they want to deploy the technology within China using cloud, whatever. They want to do first, a baseline and also assessment as to how can they be compliant with the Chinese laws. And I think that's compared to organization in Hong Kong, I think we definitely will see that I think the organization here are more business savvy, focus more on that building up the reputation and innovation from that sense. But then in China, many organizations, I think they also take a step back and to look at from a compliance perspective, because they are actually changing cyber landscape in China in terms of the new regulations and compliance requirements.
Yeah, thank you, Victor. Yeah, I think when you are using technology in the business in different areas, of course, as Victor mentioned, there is a lot of different compliance rules and regulations that we have to be aware of as well. So because of the time, I will stop here and I will see whether there is any question from the floor that you would like to share with us or discuss with the speakers.